You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some fried balls.
What's going on, NASCAR diecast collectors and diecast reviewers on YouTube? This is Original McMurray here, and I'm going to bring you guys another new episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, hosted by me, Original Big Bry. As always, guys, I'm bringing you all your weekly NASCAR Diecast news throughout each and every week until the very end of the 2016 NASCAR Diecast season. How wonderful is that? And speaking of wonderful, guys, we got ourselves a lot of great interesting news to talk about. Very wonderful right here. We of course got to start off with the new release diecast from our good friends at Plan B Sales, K-State Diecast, and Lester's Diecast, including the 164s and 124s. So we'll be into that very shortly, including some new pre-orders as well, including a new Tony Stewart card that will be that has a nice little feature to it, similar to a car last year that is also retiring. And, of course, we also have to have another list of cancellations, guys, for this episode. So we do got some more canceled diecasts to show you guys for this episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, including another other topic as well, which is another in-store promotional diecast. And I bet you guys are all wondering, what is that diecast? Well, it should be coming out very shortly, and we'll find out what is that on the next episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, which starts right now. But before we do that, guys, let's take a look back at last week's episode of the NASCAR Diecast News with its best-selling diecast from NASCAR Diecast News 152. Alright, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and folks on YouTube, NASCAR Diecast Collectors, of course. Welcome to NASCAR Diecast News, and here we're going to talk everything NASCAR Diecast that has to offer, from line-out racing and such forth. And, of course, we got to start off with the new release diecast from our good friends at Plan B Sales, K-State Diecast, and Lester's Diecast. All great dealers. Highly recommend to checking them out if you haven't already. Including your local diecast dealers. I always highly encourage you guys to check out your local diecast dealers, since they are local businesses and always is for a good cause for your local business out there. So we got some newly released 164s that we'll be briefly talking about. I'm probably going to pass on the 124s because we already covered on some of these 124s. Actually, the 160 version of some of these cars are now released in the 124s. So I'm going to stick to the 164s for this episode, guys, but we'll showcase the links and the pictures of the 124s and the 164s down below in the description. You want to check out more on those right there. But yep, let's start off with the 164s, guys, and the first one up is Jay McMurray's number 1 McDonald's Chevrolet. So this car is basically similar to last year's, but I'm still liking the McDonald's car. You know, it's just one of those signature cars that you probably need for your diecast collection, including for any Jay McMurray fans out there. So I'm definitely for sure my good friend Derek Lewis, which is a Ganassi fan 142 on Instagram, will definitely recommend getting this car, since he is a big Ganassi fan, if you can't tell by his name on Instagram. So yeah, good shout. So this diecast is a good shout out to my good friend Derek, and so forward. So yep, I probably recommend getting this car because it is if you are a big supporter of the Golden Arcs, definitely this is the car to get right here. This next one is probably going to be one of the two cars that are going to be the highlight of this episode. We got ourselves another Darlington Throwback car released, and is none other than the second Darlington Throwback car that was released, that came back in April, right after Dale Jr.'s car was released. Kevin Harvick's number 4 Darlington Throwback car was released, and this one was kind of another, wasn't really that shocking to many people. As soon as Kevin Harvick announced his sponsorship with Busch, all eyes were turning on this car right here, of what his car was going to be for the Johnson Throwback car, and no other to showcase. For this year, Kevin Harvick is actually doing a throwback for one of the past drivers in NASCAR. Unlike last year's with the Budweiser car, he was showcasing Budweiser's first can, which was gold. But this time is actually showing a true throwback for NASCAR, and it's none other than throwbacking to good old Cale Yarborough's 1979 Daytona 500 car. This is a very iconic car, especially for any guys who grew up in the late 70s watching NASCAR. So if that brings back some memories, guys, if you probably despise Kevin Harvick, but do like the history of, the throwbacks, then this probably will still be a car to get. I mean, even though you're not going to be a big fan of this driver, still get this car regardless, not because it is going to be one of the nice looking throwbacks that we're going to be seeing at the Southern 500 for this year on Labor Day weekend. That is a race I'm always looking forward to, guys, and this car right here is going to be looking amazing at the Southern 500. I know my good friend Buddy Poley is going to, another shout out to one of my good friends, Buddy Poley. He probably is going to be rooting for this car in Victory Lane. Hopefully we'll see a Johnson Throwback car in Victory Lane, hopefully, and this car right here hopefully might get the shot for it right here. But we'll see this car next month at Darlington for sure. And speaking of more Kevin Harvick diecast, we also got his Busch Spearfishing car, and I believe this car ran at Talladega, if I'm not mistaken, which also my friend Buddy Poley, he's been to Talladega as well, so maybe he saw this car at Talladega, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this is another cool-looking Bass Pro. I almost said Bass Pro Shops. Oh my God, that fish really threw me off right there. Don't hate me, Kevin Harvick fans, if I just said the wrong sponsorship right there. Okay, that was a fail. Wah wah. But the Busch. Oh my God, goodness gracious. But I guess this car kind of signatures a good combo, because when you're out fishing, I'm sure you want a nice good beer. But probably the main purpose of this car, because there's a lot of fishing in the summertime, and I think this is a really cool looking scheme to bring out that summertime feelness of this car. So yeah, this Busch fishing car looks pretty nice, and it creates a different vibe for any of the alcohol sponsors that we have in NASCAR. So pretty cool right there. We got some more Mountain Dew cars in stock right here. The next two cars I'm going to show you are the next remaining and the final remaining Mountain Dew cars. As you guys remember, the last episode of NASCAR IKS News, Dale Jr.'s Decision car was released, and now we got the remaining Mountain Dew cars in stock now that are finally released now from Plan B Sales, Casey Diecast, and Lester's Diecast. So we got Casey Kane's number 5 Mountain Dew Pitch Black car, which, by the way, if you guys haven't been up to social media, Pitch Black was the winner of the Decision, which I kind of had mixed feelings about. But if you guys never had Mountain Dew Pitch Black, it's basically like a grape-flavored Mountain Dew, and it's not too bad. And this paint scheme looks pretty nice on diecast form. The render looked alright, but I have to admit that this diecast does look really nice. And I don't know, maybe it encouraged a lot of people to vote for Pitch Black, but who knows? I mean, maybe NASCAR did have to take some part into this Decision contest thingy. But looks like we'll be seeing Pitch Black, and hopefully, since Pitch Black is the winner, maybe we'll see this car available next year. But and also, I noticed about this car, it doesn't have a green name rail on it, because if you guys remember, this car and the other car I'm about to show you, with all the other Mountain Dew cars that were released, do not have a green banner on them, because this was ran in April at the Richmond race, which in April is like Earth Day, I think. So NASCAR does like a NASCAR Earth Day thing, and they have like a green colored name banner. So I'm not quite sure why is that they don't have that. So, but still a pretty nice looking car. But if you're going for accuracy on this car, then it might be a chance to slide, but still a really nice looking car, especially if you like Mountain Dew. And with more Mountain Dew diecast, we also got Chase Elliott's Baja Blast car, which I prefer Baja Blast. I probably answered this question on my live Q&A on the NASCAR Diecast News 150th episode. And I do like this car, but however, the numbers just look weird. I feel like there could have been a different coloring on the 24. I don't know. I think just the numbers on the side, I wish there was a different color on them. Either the numbers on the side or just the number on top. I wouldn't say it shouldn't match the paint scheme, but it should go well. And I don't know, having that kind of a different color on the 24 on this car, I don't know. It looks a little odd, but regardless of not, it's still a nice looking paint scheme on the Baja Blast car, and probably would recommend getting it, especially it'll look pretty well with the Dale Jr. Baja Blast car that was released from last year, or the year before last year. And to round off the 164s, we got our first race version 164. And no, it is not the Denny Hamlin Daytona 500 car, guys. It is Jimmy Johnson's number 48 Batman vs. Superman car. Now, before you guys get turned off on this, because we've said so many times how overproduced the Batman vs. Superman cars are, this car is actually raced version. So this might actually be the Batman vs. Superman car to get right here. If you guys do remember Batman, good old Superman, Jimmy Johnson, won in this paint scheme at the Fontana race, and here it showcases a lot of the race marks and a good amount of confetti on this car, which looks really nice. I love diecasts are completed with confetti, and this does have some slight race marks to it. Because Jimmy Johnson, he's a pretty good, decent racer. And you know, this car looks really nice. I mean, I love 164 race wins. I'm glad the Lionel's making more of them. Last year they did a really good job, and then this year they did put some on the retail line. So I've got to give Lionel props for making this diecast. I mean, I didn't think that this diecast was going to be made in 164, but when I saw it was offered on pre-order, I'm like, well, this might be a car to get right here. So if you're ever trying to look for a good Jimmy Johnson Batman vs Superman car that's not overproduced by Lionel, then this is the car to get right here for sure. And now we're gonna get onto the pre-orders, guys, and we're gonna briefly touch on one little pre-order that really caught my eye, and it's a special Tony Stewart car, guys. Now you're probably wondering, how special can a Tony Stewart car be? Well, if you guys remember the thing that they did with Jeff Gordon last year with this Homestead car, they made a regular version and a raced version, which I'm sure a lot of people will love the race version even more. And they made that in both scales, and that was very, very pleasing for many NASCAR diecast collectors, including myself. Well, let's just say they're doing it again with another soon-to-be retired driver, Tony Stewart. It can't be none other than his good old hometown from the Brickyard, guys. The Brickyard. What I'm trying to say here is that Lionel Racing is offering, in both scales, a Brickyard raced version. Of course, he did not win this race, but they are offering a race version of Tony Stewart's car from the Brickyard. So, what else can I say about this car, guys? This is absolutely going to have to be a car that you are most certainly will have to get, especially if you're a big Tony Stewart fan, or any NASCAR diecast, or any NASCAR fan, because Tony Stewart is probably one of the greatest NASCAR legends that we have in this generation of NASCAR. And seeing what happened at the Brickyard this year with that lap salute with him and Jeff Gordon, I'm sure it brought a lot of good memories and probably a good emotional tears down your eyes, since we already see Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, both, one of them is already retired drivers, but I can't even say that now because he's subbing for Dale Jr. But man, guys, this definitely will have to be a diecast you will have to get. Heck, I probably would recommend getting this car in both scales just to showcase just how much Tony Stewart has done for NASCAR. So I'm really excited that Lionel decided to do this, and hopefully we'll get some more Tony Stewart appreciation with the diecast very soon. So this is a good start right here for the Tony Stewart appreciation right here. Definitely highly recommend pre-ordering this if you can, guys. And now we're going to get on to the cancellations, guys. So we do only get 2 cancellations for this episode, but nothing really too much to be worried about. The first one is for the 124 Elite version only, and that's going to be Ryan Blaney's number 21 Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center car. So like I said, this car is still available for pre-order in the 164 scale and the 124 ARC standard version. But however, for the 124 Elite version, which I'm sure there's not many fans out there who actually pre-ordered Elite diecast, which probably I can tell why this car got canceled right here. But still a nice looking car, but like I said, it's an Elite version diecast, so unless you're a hardcore Elite guy, then you're probably going to miss out on this car. But other than that, guys, that right there sums up with the Ryan Blaney car, and hopefully we don't see any more progress, and hopefully we won't see this car again in the next episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. So, but for any 164 collectors out there, they're going to be pretty bummed to hear that a Matt DiBenedetto car has been canceled for this year, and it's his number 83 Annette Iwata car. I don't know if that his Annette Iwata car, and that has been canceled in the 164 version only. And lots of people, I can't really be I can't really be ticked off about this because we're already getting a good amount of Matt DiBenedetto diecast. I mean, we're getting his Johnson throwback car from this year and his Cosmo Motors car, so there's still a good amount of Matt DiBenedetto diecast that we're getting, so I'm not too worried about that. I mean, I think this car was probably the underrated one out of the other ones because the other ones look really nice. Because Cosmo's Motors car is his main sponsor, and then the Johnson throwback Orange Crush car just looks amazing. So probably this car just didn't get enough recognition and maybe it got canceled. But for 124 collectors, you're in good luck because it looks like this car could be made in the 124. But for 164 collectors like you, me, and Race Day 2011, we're probably going to be pretty bummed that this car is not going to be made, but not too much of a big loss. And now we're getting on to the final topic, guys, which has to be another promotional diecast. I know, another promo diecast. I bet you're wondering, what's next, guys? What's next for Lionel to give us on the promos? Well, let's just say if you're a guy, and I'm pointing this out right here, if this is going to be a good promo diecast for anybody who has not picked up a Chase Elliott Napa car. Now, I know, that's kind of odd to say. If none of you guys don't have a Chase Elliott Napa car, whether it's from this year or the previous years, then that's something you're definitely missing out on diecast. There's so many opportunities to get this car, and let's just say Napa Auto Parts has created a promotional car, a promotional diecast for this, and I believe there's no catch to it, so you don't have to buy, sign up for like rewards points or buy a tank of oil, not tank of oil, but you know what I mean, like a quart of oil or something like that, like the battling promo. I believe they are selling this separately at local Napa Auto Parts. If you guys know where any of your local Napa Auto Parts are, feel free to give them a call and maybe they have this diecast. They have not said like what locations these are, but I'm sure they might be at a good amount of them for the most part because Napa is such a big all-time sponsor in NASCAR, especially with Chase Elliott now. But I probably would recommend getting this car just for one reason. It has all the updated logos on it. Compared to the retail Napa Auto Parts car that we got from Wave 4 for this year of the NASCAR Authentic Retail line, that car didn't have any of the updated logos, but here we have the Sun Energy logo. We have a good amount of other logos that were added after the Daytona race. So this also has a yellow splitter on it compared to the red splitter that was on the previous car that was released early this year, including the retail version. So if you want a more updated Chase Elliott 24 car, this would be highly recommend getting it. Plus, if you're big collecting promotional boxes like they've had on previous promotional cars, then this would be a car to get right here. I mean, I do love when there's customizable boxes. I wish Lionel would do this more often than just the standard generic boxes, but this actually gets the purpose going of why we collect promo diecast, because they have a lot more value to them and they're better, and they just actually they display a lot more nicer than the regular diecast that we pay like $8 or $9 for online or at NASCAR Fanatic Stints. So other than that, guys, this has been that episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. I hope you guys enjoyed this video series. As always, guys, please give this video series a good comment, like if you guys haven't already. I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to NASCAR Diecast News for any more NASCAR Diecast News content to come. Check out some of my diecast reviews. I'm going to try to do weekly NASCAR Diecast reviews, so tune in for that very soon once I get more new diecasts. But until next time, guys, this is Richard McBride signing off, and so long for now, everybody.